here, June 17th, 2024. We have an hour left in the session. Pretty, I guess I wouldn't say boring session to start, but it seemed a little lackluster. And then at 10 o'clock, the buyers just came in and slow and steady, and we've just melted to the upside with the SPY hitting 548.53 at about 2 o'clock and still chopping around here. Just remarkable. So after adding 1.6% last week, we're already up nearly 1% this week. Don't forget, I forgot to say that to start this morning, it is a holiday shortened trading week. So markets are closed on Wednesday, which kind of throws premiums off a little bit because typically you either have markets off close on Monday or on Friday. It's rare to have it middle of the week, but it happens every year. June 19th. So we have well, I don't know if it happens every Wednesday. It's just the day, whatever that is. So take a look. The upper Bollinger Band on the SPY is 545.82. I thought 545 would be some strong resistance. It broke right through that, like a hot knife through butter. Uh, Nothing really. I mean, we have the Fed speakers this week. We already had a couple today. Fed, and then we have retail sales numbers tomorrow morning. I think it's 0.3% is the estimate. So if that comes kind of in line, then maybe markets hold up here. And I have said it like 100 times already, but blue skies typically beget blue skies. So when you have the breakout from all-time highs, it's a lot easier to break higher than it is to start getting lower, right? Because there's less supply, less people to sell. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. We'll see how we close here today. Hopefully, I like to see consolidation. I hate to see huge moves because then at some point we're going to get some kind of snapback. We're going to have an overnight. Next thing, we'll be down 1% on the futures, and I don't want to see that. So I prefer a little consolidation here first, but hey, we'll take it. Also, keep talking about small caps as well. Horrible last couple sessions last week. They're up here about 0.75%, still underperforming the other indexes. Would really like to see those get going, but at least the IWM is back over 200. So maybe if it holds over 200 today and can start working up into the lower 200s and beyond. So some of the names, I mean, I was looking at Broadcom, and I was talking about this morning. I called it there's two names that I have. I always have the IPO smash ups. The IPO smash up, there haven't been many recently, but when you have a recent IPO and then all of a sudden, well, Kava Group's a good name. Back in the day, I always use the example of Shake Shack. That was like $20, $30, and then in a matter of a month or two, it went all the way up to $80. I mean, Roku's a great example as well. That was $18, $19, went up to 50, 60 in a very short period of time. Those are IPO smash ups where names that weren't valued properly at the IPO or had so much pent up demand that once they hit the market, then they went bonkers. And then similarly have these earnings smash ups like post earnings trades. So you have names that reported great beats and raises. The stocks soar the next day on earnings, close much higher, and then just keep smashing higher. And you take a look at Broadcom. I I was looking for calls this morning at the open, and I said I'm not paying an insane amount of money for a weekly strike at the 2000 strike for the prices that, let's see what they are now. They were like $6. Let's see. And I'm like, that's not my risk reward. That's not how I typically, especially with only a few days to expiration. Yeah, right now they're 610 by 630. It's out $1,700 out of money with 2 days, not 2 days, well, 3 days and an hour left till the end of the session. So, end of the week, excuse me. So I'll pass on that, but you can see all these other names running in tandem. Some of it, I guess you would say, is the tailwind from Apple's WWDC last week, where now everybody's talking about these refreshes on the phones. They're a new refresh cycle. Then also you have obviously NVIDIA. You have the Broadcom earnings. So you see all these names, all the chip space just going bonkers. But besides AMD, right? AMD's having a rough go on it. But did they bounce? Well, it's getting close. Keep seeing articles. Just a side note, I keep seeing people write about AMD saying it's gonna play catch up to Nvidia. I mean, it's up quite a bit already. It's not like AMD hasn't enjoyed a nice run over the years, but it has moved up similarly to Nvidia. So that was a name I was looking at. A Universal Display. I might get something before the end of the day. I was actually looking at the 220s. Maybe some no July two. I think it's July 230s. I was looking at. Just the spreads are tough, and it's not a very liquid name. So I was trying to put in a bid, and then so kind of, dollar. Actually, it looks like some got a little bit of dollar, but I might like get some of those July 230s before the close. Still have the June 220s. It's similar to Broadcom and the refresh that might happen, or refresh cycle in phones. Universal Display, they make displays. Samsung, a big partner, LG. So wouldn't be surprised to see that trade much higher than it already has. It's already had a huge move in June from the 175 handle all the way up to, well, 205. It's not a tremendous move considering all these other names that have moved, but really like that one. And then the irony here, Arista Networks, I had the 335 spec calls, closed most of them for some nice profits. The last couple expired Friday, and then sure enough, what does the option market do? It does it teases you because here it is at 341, it hit 341 and change earlier, so 1 day late on those calls expiring. Why Arista Networks couldn't do that on Friday, but that happens so many times. It makes things very frustrating. Uh, so I was looking at calls as well as on Arista, but similar to Broadcom. If I mean, I think I thought 345, so it's already kind of where I thought it might go. But the 360s are 70 by 80, so you have to get another $20 here, or it doesn't have to be 20, but at least to make money, maybe $15 tomorrow and Thursday. So as much as I would like to try and have a position, and I think it heads higher, I'm just going to pass on that one for now. Either wait for a pullback or it can run and do its magic. Uh, Turn, finally, it seems like it has a semblance of like almost like a quiet session. Typically, when Turn Pharmaceuticals has some red, it seems like sellers come in and all of a sudden it drops 6, 7, 8%. So the fact it's barely, well, now it's down 2%, but all relative, it was just at 8.30, $8.30 at 2 o'clock. So still in a nice up channel. I think I posted a chart in the chat room. If not, it's on the watch list. Still looking for July strikes. So if I can get some, not July, later dated strikes. So name some of the ones I'm looking at, and I'll just shout them out here. But they'll have their data in the back half of 2024. It's just the spreads are tough. So if you take a look, they after July's, it goes to October, and the October 15s are 75 by 150. So I mean, I forget, it's just liquidity wise. So if I get a contract at $1 and then I want to sell out before, in a week or two, it's gonna be very hard to get out at a price. You're already gonna lose money just entering a position with the bid and ask so wide, because the market makers will come out and screw you. So I'll probably just be a little patient. Maybe I'll send an email to CBOE and see if they can get some more strikes added. Uh, I said it this morning on the rant. The concern, and I was reading some more stuff and listening to some of the conferences and things like that, is going to be the adverse effects similar to structure, GPCR, where they're probably going to have great oral data. It's just a matter of how many how many people vomited or had upset stomachs, things like that. How many people left the cohort? What the dosage is going to be? Which so a lot of little things, moving parts. But really like that one, I've said it many times, huge cash position runway to 2026. At some point, one of these cash rich big tech, big pharma companies are going to come in and acquire them. So that's Turn. And VKTX finally showed some signs at 12 o'clock. It was under 51, all the way up to $54, and now it's just chopping around here at 52.85. Very, very frustrating. It just goes to show you that's trading biotechs. It's sometimes it's feast or famine, and when it's feast, like VK takes earlier in the year, it's great. But sometimes when it's famine, it could be a long time before we get some water for the plants and the plants start to grow again. So I'll probably just not add anything more just yet on VKTX, and hopefully they get some M&A on that one before my calls expire. Actually, what other strike? I have to go see the other strike I have. Uh, Align Technology. So I don't know if it's because of what's going on in China with data, but I know there's a lot of their businesses is in Asia. So I don't know if that's why it's selling off the last couple sessions. There's no news, no catalyst I can see, and if all the way down to 244, starting to bounce here at 247. I'm probably not going to add anything just yet until I see, either I figure out what the catalyst is, or I see signs that buyback has kind of like kickstarted. It looked like it was doing it last week, and then it stopped doing it. And that's that. HPQ. And did I put Dell on here? Why didn't I put Dell on here? Well, HPQ solely in the green. I would think it would be up more concerning what's going on in some of these names like the Dell, the Supermicro. Uh, but still like that one for $40. And then last but not least is Dell. So Dell, I added after its earnings, the big drop. The premiums were kind of elevated. So I had the June 165s and I pretty much wrote those off. And then as it was melting lower, I got the July 170. So those finally came back to life today, and they were solidly green. Now they're nearly flat. I'll check it. But either I'll just hold on to those. I love Dell. I think the story's kind of overblown. I said this after the earnings, to the fact that people coming out saying that Dell's going to have zero margins on AI servers with NVIDIA. It just doesn't make sense, right? You're not a non-for-profit company. So if that business makes no money, then don't be in that business, right? Or find other ways to profit off it, right? Add accessories. I don't know. So Michael Dell was on CNBC. It's funny when the negativity comes out and stocks are falling like Dell. Everybody, again, more stuff you read over the weekend, all the insider sales, and I have to go look if those are 10.5 B1 plans. But he has Michael Dell has like a huge stake in the company. He was the founder. So, anyway, I mean, he's not supposed to sell the stock ever, right? He's just supposed to hold on to it till, I don't. So that's Dell. GameStop, crazy stuff. Again, they had their shareholder meeting at 12:30. It was postponed from last time because the site couldn't handle the traffic for the live stream. So this was audio only. And it goes on at 12:30. I caught bits and pieces, and it lasted like 23 minutes. And it said, okay. And there was actually just a little screen, just a little itinerary for the call. And it was their yearly shareholder meeting. I looked at, I said, I think some of the bulls were expecting some mind-blowing announcement, like, Roaring Kitty being put on the board of directors or something crazy like that. And it sounded like, I don't know if it was Cohen was on there, he pretty much was downplaying the volatility in the stock and the excitement. And they talked about, profitability and closing, scaling back on locations, things like that. So that's that. OLED's up here at 206. I'm probably going to get some of that before the close, so don't be surprised to see me probably the July 230s. And I think that's it, folks. We got 47 minutes to the close. Let's have a great day. It's one of those days where I want to look for positions, but it just doesn't make, especially if you take a look, the SPY's up. Well, the S&P has, had the massive rally. Well, not massive, but without a small little red candle last week, it would have been up every single session last week. And, you still take a look at the since the start of May, was the SPY was at 500. So you have an 8% move just in May and this, 2/3 of June. And then we're heading to the end of the quarter. So the last 2 weeks, is there going to be some shenanigans, some rebalancing, some positioning? So I'm trying not to get a little overzealous, trying to be too aggressive. I'll just hold what I have for now. And if I see opportunities, I'll add them. Especially last week was one of the better weeks in quite some time. So anyway, that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio tomorrow. Rock and roll.